How did the hats of European armies change from this to this? In some movies and TV shows about wars in the 18th century, we often see this kind of three-legged cat. This kind of hat was first invented by Spanish soldiers in the 17th century. At that time, Spanish soldiers stationed in Flanders wore this kind of hat, with a very large brim and wide brim. When they carried their muskets on their shoulders, they often encountered smoke, and sometimes they would knock their hats to the ground, which was very annoying. So they rolled up the brim of the hat and fixed it with pins or buttons on the top. In this way, a well-shaped triangular hat was born. The triangular hat neither affected their carrying of guns nor blocked their sight. At that time, the high-quality triangular hats were generally made of beaver fur. Wearing this kind of hat on rainy days was like wearing an umbrella, and the grooves on the triangular hat also facilitated the flow of rainwater. In 1667, a war broke out between France and Spain for the Spanish Netherlands. French soldiers saw that the Spanish hats were very unique, so they followed their example. After the war, the French brought the tricorn hat back to France, and it soon became popular in the court of Louis XIV. From the end of the 17th century to the 18th century, the tricorn hat became the most popular hat style in Europe. At the end of the 18th century, a new hat style began to become popular, which was the bicorn hat worn by Napoleon. At first, the bicorn hat was usually worn horizontally. Starting around 1800, the smoke on both sides of the bicorn hat began to flatten, and some officers wore it vertically. But the top of this bicorn hat is prone to rain and snow accumulation, and the two corners are easy to fall down when they encounter water, which is not very good looking. So starting in 1804, a bucket hat from Hungary gradually replaced the original bicorn hat of the French infantry. It is said that this kind of saber can make soldiers look taller and can deter the enemy when encountering the saber of the enemy cavalry. You can protect the infantry's head, but overall its protection is very limited, but it looks pretty good.